Take 4 is set to take place in Kansas City for the Arrowhead Invitational. Important assets will be available for this rematch against the Bills, and we give our predictions for this upcoming AFC Championship game. All of this next on Chiefin.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to another episode of Chiefin. I'm your host,
Dale Fowler, along with my partner, Lonnie.
Let's just see that. Let's hope the Chiefs come back and show that their regular self.
Facts. Go Chiefs. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Chiefin. I'm your host, Dale Fowler, along with my partner, Lonnie. How you doing today, brother?
Good. Excited. Ready to talk some Chiefs football and get into this AFC Championship game, the Arrowhead Invitational.
You sound a little somber, bro, because honestly, like I'm very, very excited, bro. I can't even hide it. This is 7 straight for us. You know, this has been the floor for Patrick Mahomes ever since he has entered the NFL. I would say not the NFL, but starting in the NFL, and from there, he has kept us Chiefs fans very happy. So this is a wonderful time to be a Chiefs fan. We definitely got a lot to talk about today and getting into this matchup. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. So take 4. The Kansas City Chiefs are preparing to host their 7th consecutive AFC Championship game. Now, it's not our consecutive one that we're hosting. We did have to go to Baltimore last year, but still, this is our 7th time actually being in this game. So how are you feeling as we approach the highly anticipated matchup against Josh Allen and the Bills, which will mark our 4th playoff encounter with them?
Yeah, so I feel confident going into this matchup against the Bills. I know in our previous matchup in the regular season we haven't beat them, but we were able to beat them in the playoffs and have been able to beat them every time we've seen them in the divisional round. So I'm confident, but I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not questioning some things as far as the Chiefs go. Their offensive line didn't have one of their best showings. We know they came off of a 2-week layoff, so they kind of had some a rough start getting started early in the game. But I'm confident, but questioning a couple things. But I want to see how the Chiefs get off the field on third down on the offensive side of the ball, and on the defensive side of the ball. And I think whoever is able to win that down will go on and be able to win this game. Josh Allen went and made one of the biggest plays so far of his career. Of course, in the regular season against the Chiefs on 4th and 2, running it in, doing the QB run. So the biggest thing I think for the Chiefs really is in their Achilles heel, as I like to say, is the quarterback run. If you have a quarterback that is halfway competent and is able to run the ball, I think you have the ability to be able to get the Chiefs on the rope and sometimes somewhat hamper them, and in most cases beat them. You've seen that with Joe Burrow. You've seen that with Josh Allen as of late. Lamar hasn't really gotten to that yet, but I'm questioning a couple things, but I'm confident in the Chiefs as far as the players overall matching up. I don't think they match up as far as the secondary goes. I think the Chiefs have a better secondary, and then Buffalo's is probably still looking for some answers to some questions out there, being that they're down the body with Taylor Rapp. So I'm confident, but I would say that I'm waffling. As Pat McAfee and Chuck Pagano and the boys would say. I don't know how I'm really feeling. I'm flopping around a little bit on this one, but I'm confident that the boys overall we match up better with the Buffalo Bills this second time around.
It's good to hear that because honestly, going into this matchup, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident with what we can do. Now, that is not acknowledging and accepting the fact that we do have some issues that the Bills can take advantage of and use that to their advantage to be able to overcome their inconvenience situations that they have dealt with us, right? However, I do think being in these situations 7 straight years, coming into this game. I think we prepare differently than other teams. I think we understand the environment of what we're in, and I think we will take advantage of that. And it also helps being in Arrowhead as well too. We were able to go to Buffalo last year and be able to, of course, come away with a win and move on to the AFC Championship game. But it's a different approach for the Buffalo Bills coming into Arrowhead. This is a stadium that has of course, the highest decibel is very loud, 142.2, and we are expecting the same outcome coming into this matchup as well, because we are trying to go ahead and do something that hasn't been done in history in the NFL, which is three-peat. So I think overall, when they come in and look at this, they're preparing, they're watching the film, they're paying attention. They got guys like Oladokin out there is probably mimicking everything that Josh Allen is going to do, being a running quarterback, but also someone who can use his arm. Now, we're not saying that he's a guy who can use his arm, right? Like, or throw anywhere near like Josh Allen, but still, you need to prepare for those moments where he's going to be taking advantage of moving up in the pocket and just making plays happen for this team. He's going to try to have over his dead body type of moments in this matchup. So coming into this, you got to get him to the ground. You got to be able to cover those receivers. You're going to have to be able to get after the passer with just four, because Spags, you don't want to come into this and just go all out and blitz all game, because Josh Allen is someone who can get outside of the pocket, who can use his legs to go for 10, 20 plus yards and even take it into the end zone if he can. But also, when he does get out the pocket, he can throw the ball very well, very accurate, and then he can hit his targets. The secondary is going to be key, and they're going to be big. We didn't have somebody that we had in the last matchup, which we will talk about in the next segment, but we are getting guys back that can help on this defense side of the ball to be able to get a different result that we saw last time. So knowing the Kansas City Chiefs, knowing the offense and the defense, knowing those key players that we do have on that side of the ball, we're not coming into this game thinking like, hey, this is going to be an easy one for us. You heard them talk about it when in a Week 11 matchup after the game where Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes came up to one another. We're going to do this again. It's going to be fun. They knew they were going to be back into this moment. So if you know you're going to be back into this moment, you can't do what you did last time in that last game. And we could have won that game as well, too. Before Josh Allen scored that touchdown, it was 24-21, or I believe 23-21. Get downfield, if we're able to get a stop or force a field goal, who knows if we get down the field and score a touchdown or either a field goal to win that game, depending on that outcome on their drive. So regardless of it being a 2-score game in that matchup, we all know it was the same point differential that we are seeing on this spread right now in this upcoming matchup. We know when they get into this type of atmosphere, whoever gets the ball last, more than likely they're going to win the game. So it's going to be a firework of a show. Honestly, with me saying that, when in these games, it end up being opposite of what I'm saying. So if it's not a firework of a show, I'm loving that for the Chiefs, because once we get you and we got you and we understand you, it's going to be a long day for you. And when you have one of the greatest on the other side of the ball, who is for sure the best quarterback in the league as of now, who is trying to reach GOAT status. He is going for something that hasn't been done before. He'd be in rare company with John Elway and Tom Brady, being the first quarterback to make it to a Super Bowl within his 5 years of playing in a 5-year setting. That's crazy. That's phenomenal. So although people think we have our backs against the wall, they think that we have some things that a lot of teams can exploit, and they think it's going to be easy for the Buffalo Bills. They're taking that all in, and they're using that as a motivation. Why wouldn't you? Y'all are really disrespecting us. We haven't had any scandals. Okay, a couple calls may go our way in certain situations, but all you're telling me is that the Kansas City Chiefs learned from their mistakes in the past. Y'all forget what happened in the AFC Championship game. You forget what happened in that wild card divisional matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Eric Fisher got called multiple times and was getting in the end zone in the final moments of that game where they could have advanced to the AFC Championship game, something that could have happened before Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, we were whining. We got over it. We've been dealing with heartache since even the Trent Green years, going up into when we had the 2-14 season in 2014. We done seen it all. We done been through it all. Andy Reid has been the coach of this team for over 6 years, and he has dealt with heartache. He tells his players in these moments, regardless of what happened, don't be the one to screw it up. Don't do a late hit. Don't hit at the top of the quarterback's head. Make sure you're not offsides. What happened after that offsides? What happened? We gotta go get Frank Clark. We gotta make sure somebody who's not gonna be offsides in these moments and still can get after the quarterback. So I'm confident because they've been here before for 7 straight years. Buffalo, welcome back. When we was doing this in 2020, you finally got back. Are you ready? Because that's been a long drought for y'all. So anything else you want to say on this before we move on to our next topic?
I mean, I think you laid it out perfectly. I mean, you got to go. They said it too on Get Up today earlier. You got to go into the belly of the beast and you got to slay them. So, I mean, if you want it, you got to go take it. And this is Josh Allen's opportunity to take it, but this is going to be one I think they're going to have to scratch and claw for. But we go ahead and we keep talking about that.
And you just mentioned it. It's the belly of the beast. We can talk about all these other stadiums where they call themselves the 12th man, but Kansas City, Missouri, Arrowhead Stadium, GEH at Arrowhead Stadium, it gets rocking. We have teams out there don't know what they're doing. They're calling timeouts. They got to get the call. That plays to our advantage. You're wasting timeouts. Now you have to go about the situation a lot differently. Where we're we're handcuffing you. Can't do as much. So you think that you're just worried about playing Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, all them guys over on the field? You're also playing the crowd as well too. So when you're at the 5-yard line on any side of the ball, you better be silent count. You better be having a play in mind. You can't be rattled because it's not just us going after you. It's the fans as well too. So it's always a lovely feeling to have a wonderful crowd at Arrowhead Stadium. They always been, of course, the 12 men in our situations where they help out our team and put us in situations where we can go forward. Buffalo, they got to try to overcome that. But before we move on to our next topic, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Please like, share, comment on our old videos as well too. That way other Chiefs fans like yourself can check out the comment and the content and subscribe as well. So please do that. Also, make sure to subscribe to our Substack. We have our daily newsletter that comes out Monday through Friday. And then also we have paid articles that comes out for the pregame and the postgame for those Chiefs games. So if you want additional content where we go deeper into that and talk about it and get prepared and also talk about the outcome of what happened in that particular game, make sure to subscribe. It's only $5 a month. We also will be doing other exclusive content on there as well too. So it's going to be worth that subscription. That way you have it available to you. And if you want to pay yearly, you can do that as well. It's a lot cheaper when you do that. So please go ahead and support our Substack. Also, make sure if you want, especially depending on the outcome of this game, go ahead and fill out that link to be a part of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where that is hosted by Clinton and Shannon. We want Chiefs fans like yourself, or even fans of opposing teams, to go ahead and come on this platform. That way we can talk about your fandom and upcoming current events that's going on around that time period as well too. It's definitely a fun time. We take a deep dive into you. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure to go ahead and fill out that form. That way you can be a part of that podcast. Also, if you want some merch, we got Chief shirts. Please hit up me, Lonnie, Clinton, or even Shannon. If you want a shirt from Red Kingdom Media. We'll put that order in for you, get it out to you as soon as possible. That way, you are repping the RKM. I only got this Halloween shirt on right now, but y'all know about that a little bit more. Why I referenced this and had to put this on because we're going to be the boogeyman in this upcoming matchup on Sunday. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Sorry, I just had to sing it. It just felt like a good moment to do that. But in this previous matchup, in the Chiefs were without Isiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, Charles Omenihu, and also Jaylen Watson. What impact do you anticipate these players will have in the impending rematch from Week 11?
A huge impact. I think Charles Omenihu already showed his impact coming back in that game against I think where he first came back in the game against the Raiders, but just now being on this kind of stretch that he's been on, that famous tomahawk chop that he's making famous. Spags was talking today. Hopefully they can get one of them strip sacks or the balls that he puts on the ground. Hopefully we can scoop one up and put it back over there and put it in our end zone. Swing it the other way. That'll be great. I love what I've seen from Charles. And I think he will be a difference maker in this matchup too. And same thing for Jaylen Watson, really for all of these guys. Not so much Isiah Pacheco because I see that says it a lot. He's a microcosm of himself. But I don't want to kind of put that jacket on him. I don't think that I'm not gonna say that he can't get back to the form that he was before he got hurt after week 2 against the Bengals. So I don't know if Isiah Pacheco is necessarily a difference maker more than he is a decoy out there. But I think Jaylen Watson, I mean, it speaks for itself. The defense was a top 5 defense when he was playing corner easily on this team. He had a ton of PBUs. You've seen what he did to people like Quinn Johnson. You've seen what he did to the people like the rest of those guys for the Bengals, what they did to that secondary. They were locking people down all year long until he got hurt in that San Francisco game. So you know what Jaylen Watson's about. And then the deep ball from Hollywood Brown that we believe was a catch. They called that it wasn't a catch. We argued a little bit about it off air. But I think everything. I think all of those guys really speak for themselves, I feel like all of those guys really can swing the point differential in this game, and also why I really think that Buffalo has a lot more to contend with coming into this matchup, which is why I said what I said in the first segment. I just don't think the two teams matched up perfectly when they had a lot of different bodies that were kind of out, but. With them not having bodies out now and kind of being back at full strength, I think that the Chiefs are at advantage here, being that they have players like Hollywood Brown, Charles Omenihu, and Jaylen Watson, guys that were playing at a super duper high level before getting hurt and before not playing with the team. So I love what I think I love what I've seen from all of these guys, and I think they'll make a difference. But I don't know how much Isiah Pacheco makes a difference. As much, like I said, as much as he's a decoy, I think for the most part he would just be used to kind of just kind of flash and flaunt, kind of like a toy, because he's really not able to really do too much ever since that broken leg. But for the most part, I think the rest of these guys are going to be big difference makers in this game coming up.
Lonnie, truthfully, I agree with you on that take. Now, with some of the certain players, I think they may contribute a little bit more than what we might think, but I'm gonna go ahead and go down the list for that. So starting with Isiah Pacheco, and I think you mentioned it right there because we've been seeing how Kareem Hunt has been playing this season and how he took over the realm of the helm in week 4, and then he just didn't give it up after that. Of course, with Isiah Pacheco coming back from his injury, and then of course being activated, we wanted to try to implement him more, have a little split carries with Kareem Hunt. But we know in certain moments that we needed to go back to Kareem because he's able to get those punishing yardage for us. He's a big body who wears down the defense, makes them wore out, and then we can take advantage of that behind of course, the linebackers and the safeties where we do our quick passes and just be able to just throw it down the field and attack them from there. So in this situation with Isiah Pacheco, I do think that probably on 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, stuff like that, where it can be like a rundown situation, and maybe we need like a pop because we haven't seen much of that from Kareem Hunt this season. But he has been doing the dirty work for us and really instilling drives for us as well too. I think with Isiah Pacheco, he just need to get his confidence back. Of hopefully with this offensive line, they're able to get a push with this front four of the Buffalo Bills. Because if you could, or if you're able to push them behind the sticks and be able to take advantage of that, then Isiah Pacheco can be able to have more of a clear vision, which is not his strong suit, but we know that he likes to hit a hole and then hit it hard. So if he's able to find that hole very quickly and then be able to take advantage of that, then we could be able to see a pop for 5, 6+ yards, maybe even more than that. But it put us in a better position on those short 2nd down yardage or 3rd down yardage as well. And then that's when you have Kareem Hunt come in, where you have that rotational guy, and also Samaje Perine, where we know he's our 3rd down back as well too, where they have a better advantage of pushing us forward. We know with Isiah Pacheco, I want everybody to listen and understand this as well too. He is coming back from a leg injury, and that was significant. And for him to put in that work to be in this advantage and be able to be another body out there where we have more to play with as well too, he's a hell of a guy for actually working himself to get to that point. So I definitely appreciate that. Now I do think he has some worries where he might be a little tender, might be feeling like I don't want to do that as much because he's being very ginger at that moment with that. But I do think we have saw it even in that Raiders game as well too. When he started coming back, he have a big run at of course. Okay, great. On that 1st down, he gets us another 1st down and helps us extend the drive and keep on going. But we know when it comes into okay, we gotta fight for it. We don't need any mistakes. We don't need any drop passes. If you're catching it out the backfield, we gotta go to our guy Kareem Hunt to be able to do that. So I think he can have more of a role, but I feel he will play more of a backseat because right now Kareem Hunt, when he's in the offense, it is rolling, and you also seeing him come out the backfield and putting a body on the DN as well too. He's getting those big pushes, and that's helping guys like Joe Tooney and Jawan Taylor, where Mahomes is not getting attacked as fast. So I love it. I think he will have his moments, but at the same time, we know that Kareem Hunt is going to be the main guy, I think, throughout this matchup. Now moving over to Hollywood Brown. He wasn't in the last matchup, right? This is for all the guys that we're talking about, but we have seen where he is a deep threat and he can add another element to this offense. Now we know we can do that with Xavier Worthy as well too, but he has taken that Rashee Rice role where he's doing more of the underneath, getting those quick passes, and then he's just using his feet to get the additional yardage or the 1st down to help us in the drive. So with Hollywood Brown, he has to come into this matchup, and we need to see what we saw in training camp and also in our workout videos as well too. We honestly saw it in the first preseason game, and we saw it when he got back in his first game when he played against the Pittsburgh Steelers as well too. He doesn't have as many targets in that last matchup, but I do know if he's lined up one-on-one with a guy, he does have the athleticism, he does have the route running to where he can create separation. And then Patrick Mahomes, of course, he's going to be on the money. We know when he's in the playoffs, he's on a point, and we know if Hollywood Brown is taking advantage of that weak Bills secondary, then he's going to be able to have a big game himself. So I do think he can be a big factor in this matchup. And then not to mention D-Hop as well too. D-Hop is a guy who, of course, in the last game, he had about 4 to 6 catches, didn't really do as much. He didn't do nothing in the last game as well too. But we know that Andy Reid wants him to be involved in this offense. So if he's able to, of course, win some of those jump ball situations, those quick slants where we know it's on the money, he has the hands to do it and get out there, I think it's going to really discourage the Bills secondary and might give up more big plays than we expect. So I do think Hollywood Brown could be a threat in this matchup. Now moving on to Charles Omenihu. You already mentioned it already. We know he has a big chop. He's known for getting in the backfield and then going after that ball and then making a play and converting the fumble as well too. In those moments, if he's able to do that with Josh Allen, we have to recover. We have to win the turnover battle. If you win the turnover battle against the Bills, more than likely you win in the game, because you didn't heard the stack in those matchups as well. All the games that the Bills have won, they have won in the turnover margin. So we're going to have to be able to make Josh Allen and that offense have mistakes and then capitalize on that as well too. And then going to Jaylen Watson. Of course, we stand on the defensive side of the ball. The Bills receivers compared to the secondary, I do think we match up well because we right now, Amari Cooper, we know he's a great wide receiver. But we have also known in the playoffs as well too. He doesn't really step up as much. Now he is playing with Josh Allen, and that could be a different story. But Spags, once again, once we know you have a number one guy, we can eliminate him. We did that with Stephon Diggs, so we can do the same with Amari Cooper. Their young rookie Keon Coleman, he wasn't in the last matchup, right? But Jaylen Watson will be able to hang with him because more than likely you're going to have McDuffie on Shakir or Amari Cooper. So Jaylen Watson, in those situations where you lined up against him, we know what type of player he is. He doesn't give up as much. He didn't even give up as much in the last game. On his target, he wasn't targeted, or nor he didn't give up a catch as well. So we know that he can go out there and ball out. And then he got a good amount of usage as well, too, even coming back from that significant injury that he had with his ankle. So it looks like he's ready to play. He's ready to get out there. He can line up one on one. And then guess what? That helps out guys like Joshua Williams and Najee Johnson, where we have seen them flourish in the slot and in the nickel. So, with all that saying, these guys will have a significant impact in this game. They had to have a significant impact in this game because you weren't in the last matchup. They don't have any film on you within our, you know, within our scheme from this. Well, Hollywood Brown, because he's the newest player involved in this, right? You can go back to the old film where you played against guys like Omenihu, Isiah Pacheco, and Jaylen Watson. But Hollywood Brown, he's the only one where they haven't matched up against him yet in the Chiefs offense. So with them not having film on you guys from week 11, they're going to have to be paying attention to you. But they're not going to be all the way aware coming into the game. They're going to have to adjust to that. So if you come out playing lights out, you're handling your assignments, you're doing your job, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. But I do think that they can have big moments in this game where it can be a difference maker from what we saw from week 11. And that can be what will help us overcome in this AFC Championship game against the Buffalo Bills and move on to the Super Bowl in hope of having a three-peat. So, Lonnie, anything else you want to say on this topic before we move on to our predictions?
Like you said, those are the difference makers right there. Perfect segment. Those names I feel like are the separator between these two teams. It was 1 point games. It's been these last couple times we met. So the margin is super duper thin.
Right. Right. We'll see how it goes. It's coming up quickly. We're only days away. So we're going to be able to see in that primetime game, the last game of Sunday, who's going to determine who's going to face off against the NFC matchup. Whatever happened in that 3:30 slot. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a great one to watch. All right. So moving on to our last topic. Sunday predictions. What is your score prediction for the AFC Championship game, and which players do you anticipate will excel on both offense and defense?
Yes. So I think the Chiefs win, and I was gonna put the Chiefs over 30 points here, but I didn't go. I didn't do it. I think the Chiefs win. 27-24. I think the Chiefs find a way to get a win here. Get out with the W. Um, in a close game. Like I said, the last couple games have been one score games. The Kadarius Toney offsides, the Bass missed field goal, and you just can go on and on from there. So um, I I think this game is close. So close that I have it like that, and I didn't want to put them over 30 points, and I think the Chiefs are only gonna score 27. And I really want to give them more than that. But I think Mahomes has a day and goes off. I've been talking about this the whole time, and this might be one of our last times even talking about a game. This is a legacy game for Mahomes. This is a career-defining game for Mahomes. This is a separator game for Mahomes. This eliminates the conversation of is Mahomes better than Brady, or can he be better than Brady, or is that dynasty as good as the Patriots dynasty? I think all that eliminates all of those. This game eliminates all of those questions. And with that being said, I think the man that is on his shoulders, I think he shows up to play. And Mr. Patrick Mahomes has himself a day throwing for at least 2 touchdowns and at least 300 yards. And then I think Charles Omenihu on the defensive side of the ball has a day, being that they're going to focus a lot on George Karlaftis, and focus their attention to Chris Jones. We know that he's always the highlighted guy on that defensive side of the ball as far as making hay as far as in the pass rush game. So being that George had that elite sack game at the end of towards the end of the game on CJ Stroud. I think that they're going to definitely be trying to focus a lot of attention on George Karlaftis. And with that being said, you have guys like Charles Omenihu and Chris Jones. And you know, Chris Jones is always going to play really never second fiddle, but George Karlaftis playing second fiddle to Chris Jones on who they're going to be trying to roll that protection to. And that's going to leave guys like Kirk Wharton, Charles Omenihu, guys that we've seen able to rush the passer, able to feast in the pass rush game. So I think Charles Omenihu has him a day, and I think Mahomes has himself a day, and the Chiefs get themselves to rarefied air, get themselves to something that no one has ever done, gets themselves somewhere where people thought they wouldn't go, and starts to really try and complete the impossible, and that's complete the three-peat. So I think if all of those things can happen, and guys can really channel that energy, and understand that this is a legacy defining game, which I really think they all understand and they know, I think we're gonna find ourselves in the Super Bowl again in New Orleans.
Mm, that's I got it very close as well too. I'm actually going with 28-25 Kansas City. I do think it will come down to the final moments, and of course, we're going to prevail and move on to another Super Bowl appearance. And of course, that'll be three in a row in hopes of course, completing this three-peat. So I have it like that. Just the reason why, because I do think that the Chiefs will try to take advantage early and try to get on the board early against the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to try to hold on to the lead as well too. And when they do that and they take advantage, and even if it's a point to where they can get up two scores on them, I think the defense is going to try to put a pounding on them and not try to give up as much. Now we know Josh Allen. He has big games, but when you look at last year as well too, he didn't really have a big game against the Chiefs. Now he had his moments where he was able to keep them in it, but we actually had full control of that matchup. It didn't feel like at any point that they were going to lose it. They did miss that field goal towards the end, but it just seems like everything wasn't going the Bills' way. So I do think that course that can carry over into this year in the playoffs, and I think the same outcome can happen as well. So I have it 28-25 at Chiefs. And then for my offensive standout, I'm going with Xavier Worthy. I do think this could be a big game for him. I do think that he can come out and play the role that we have seen Rashee Rice play in last year playoffs as well too. He had some big plays in the last game against the Houston Texans where he had that big catch and also was able to, of course, come in clutch on those certain moments with some big catches across the middle as well too. So I think that can happen in this game against the Bills, especially with their depleted secondary. They have guys like Taylor Rapp that is probably not going to play in this matchup. I heard that Teron Johnson also got downgraded as well too. So it's a possibility that their back end can be hurting, and they already had secondary problems with injuries as well too. So I think that we can take advantage of that. And it's easy to say veterans like Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins, right? But we have saw when it came in moments where Mahomes is comfortable with those players on his offense, we know that he is good with Travis Kelce. And even though he has been trying to find his way downfield with Xavier Worthy, they have been connecting, of course, on those intermediate routes. And I think that can be effective as well, too, especially in a short game if they like to throw a quick screen or get it out to him quick where he can do something with his feet. I think that's where Xavier Worthy can flourish, and I think that would help us out a lot. Being around guys like DeAndre Hopkins, it definitely has enhanced and elevate his mindset of how he plays the game. He's becoming a smart player as well too. Really don't make as many mistakes. He just had those catches where he caught out of bounds. But we have seen lately that he's trying to make those plays in bounds and going up for the football as well too. So I do think he can have a big day, but it's also going to help with guys like Kareem Hunt, of course, pounding the rock, being able to, of course, wear down that front seven, getting beyond the line of scrimmage, of course, working them out and being able to help us in the back end, because more than likely, if they're dealing with those injuries, they're going to be using those linebackers more, helping with coverage, trying to probably cover the middle, because if you've seen in the last game against the Ravens, when you're watching it, that middle was wide open. Mark Andrews was open in the middle. He just made some bad mistakes. But Who knows if he goes down the field, catch it, doesn't do too much, and Lamar is able to extend it, we could have been seeing them in this AFC Championship game. I don't think the Chiefs make those same mistakes because we know the opportunity, we know what's at stake right now, and they're going to. I think the offense, regardless, I'm not going to say it, have been saying the whole time, but we know what they have to avoid, what they had in the last matchup. So if they can do that and avoid that, I think we will be okay because that was a difference maker against them where we only lost by 9 points. And then in reality, we were only down by 2. So just whatever, however you want to see it, however you want to call it, I put it out there for you to, of course, dissect it and take it as is. Now, moving over to the defensive side of the ball, I know you gave it to Charles Omenihu. I think Charles Omenihu and Chris Jones is going to be the reason why this guy I'm about to mention right now has a big day, and that's George Karlaftis. If he's able, Charles Omenihu and Chris Jones, able to destroy that interior offensive line and force Josh Allen to get outside of the pocket, we know that George Karlaftis has a motor. Now, they're going to have to contain the edges, but that's how you do it with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson as well. You have to limit the rush lanes. If you limit the rush lanes, that gives us room for opportunity because as he moving outside of the pocket, we can talk about it all day. I want him to move outside the pocket backwards. I don't want him to move outside the pocket forward. If you're moving him backwards, that's making it a tougher throw, but also at the same time making him lose yardage as well too. If we're able to get him back right there or throw it away, we'll take it how we take it. But George Karlaftis, I think he can get 2 sacks in this game. We didn't bring him down in the last matchup. I think they can do it this time. And we know in these type of games as well too. That's when our defense wake up. They're going to make the plays. They're going to follow the assignment. But all Charles Omenihu and Chris Jones have to do is blow up that interior side of the offensive line. Get him moving around, get him rattled, because I don't think their receivers exposed our secondary with Jaylen Watson coming back. We had talked about it in the last matchup. You didn't mention it, Lonnie. Who were they attacking in that game most of the time?
Najee Johnson.
Who is not the starting corner in this game?
Najee Johnson. Hopefully, he was playing a little bit in the last matchup. So
He was. But when you have those guys lined up and you got guys like Trent McDuffie and Jaylen Watson back out there, we're matching him up against your best receivers. Is your third, fourth receiver going to do that? Now, Mac Hollins couldn't have a field day with him, right? But we got somebody who can match up with you in size, and that's Joshua Williams. And the thing is, he might get you a penalty. You might get a holding on him. But boy, you're not bullying him like you did others. You're not doing that. You're not. And he match up well against your third and fourth receiver. We seen what he did to Odell Beckham Jr., even though he had a tug. We know how to play that off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They didn't see it. But still, I feel comfortable if our secondary is able to hold it down on the back end. That's going to cause Josh Allen to have to make quicker decisions because we're not going to let you sit in the pocket all day. So that's my predictions for this AFC Championship matchup. Pretty much the Chiefs, they have to be like this guy on the shirt right here. It says Halloween ends, but the Buffalo Bills season has to end. And we have to be the boogeyman. I'm not talking about, we walk like we going to keep on living and we living to fight another day. He never dies. Well, he died in this movie, but we know the history of him. He never dies. We're not dying on Sunday. I don't think the Chiefs want to die on Sunday. Chiefs fans is the only fans rooting for the Chiefs. The only fans. Probably shouldn't put that together, but you know what I'm saying.
we really wouldn't want it no other way. At this point, we done round robin the NFL. Spin the block on the NFL. We done round robin every team in the NFL except for ourselves. If we could play ourselves, we probably would have beat our own team too. So I mean, we wouldn't want it no other way. The world against us. I mean, that's how it's been on all these championship runs. That's why it makes these pods so good. That's what makes Red Kingdom Media what it is. That's what makes all of these different platforms, whatever what they are, is that we know it's the world against us. So
Continue
we love
success.
it, bro. No other way.
Right, right. So that's gonna be a fun one on Sunday evening. So get your popcorn ready, get your dinner ready. It's gonna be a fun one. I know it's gonna be some parties going around, so y'all make sure to be safe. Uh, don't act a fool. You know, if if it happens how we hope that it happens. Kansas City, please keep it together. Keep it together. But that's all we have for this episode of Chiefin. We'd like to thank everyone who supports the channel and continues to support as well too. And also to our new subscribers, thank you to subscribing as well. We appreciate the love. Please make sure to tap in with that and all our other platforms as well too, because we like to stay connected with the fans, with Chiefs fans, because we of course love talking Chiefs football. But Lonnie, as always, go
Go
Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.